Today we're going to take a look at the cycle sort algorithm challenge from Topcoder. Now cycle sort is a comparison sort that theoretically sorts the algorithm with the minimum number of writes to array locations using numbers. So what we're going to look at today is we're going to go through the algorithm. We're going to see how the cycle sort or the algorithm draws a number from the array, places it in the correct position, then takes that number that it's replaced and finds the correct position for it to put it into its correct location, and then continues to do this until all the correct locations have been written. Again, this is a method that will sort the algorithm with the minimum number of location writes to get the array in sorted order. So let's go ahead and take a look at this real fast. All right, now using the comments or using the Wikipedia description of this, we're going to go through and we're going to just describe the algorithm. So the algorithm, as it's written, will first set, we're just keeping track of the number of writes that we're going to make to the array. So we set the initial number of writes to 0. Then we're going to loop through the array to find the cycles to rotate. Now, again, that rotation cycle is just grabbing a number, finding its correct location, placing it there, and then cycling out the number that was replaced, finding its correct location, and then placing it where it goes, cycling out the number that's replaced, etc. So again, I have places that we're going to inspect the array as we go through the cycle, just so that we can see where the array is changing. Now the item that we're going to be carrying, that we're going to start the cycle, is going to be that index of the array that we're looking at currently. So again, we're going to go through the entire array and then grab a number, find its correct location, place it, and then cycle the other out. So we grab that item, and then we have to see, or we are going to cycle through the array, and we are going to see how many items are less than the array that we're checking on right now. So basically we're counting those number of items, so that's what the position is. So we cycle through the entire array, then we calculate the number of positions or number of items less than the current item, and then we're going to take that item and we're going to place it where it belongs using that position count. If the item is already in its correct position, we are not going to write that to a position. We're just going to move on to the next the next item in the cycle. So that would be this loop here, this range loop here. However, if it's not in its correct position, we are going to find the next correct position. Now what's going on here is if there are duplicates in the array, then we're going to place it at the end of the duplicates. So this will prevent the loop from continuing to cycle through the same numbers over and over again. However, if it's not in the correct position, then we are going to swap that, or we're going to put the item in its correct position. And then we add 1 to the rights variable. Just again, we're using this to count the number of writes that we're making to the array. Then we move on to the next cycle. So again, we are continuing on. We're placing an item where it belongs, drawing that number that it replaced out, finding its correct location, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this in action. So let me move this up a little bit, clear the screen, and then we'll go ahead and run the algorithm. Okay, so again, I usually do a random number of 10 digits between -100 and +100, shuffle them, and then create my random array. So we can see that the first number is -24. Okay, so it's going to grab that first number and it's going to find its correct location. So it's going to count how many numbers are less than 24. So there's the number less than 24 is -31. So it's one position greater than where it currently is. So we'll write that position, and then notice that that first position doesn't change because we haven't written that number yet. Again, we're only making the number of writes that we're going to absolutely need. And if we take a look down here, we only need 9 writes. Okay, so we've taken -24, placed it in its correct position, and notice that -69 has kind of disappeared. So we are holding on to -69, and we're going to find the number of items that are less than -69. So 69, if we go back to our original array, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 numbers less than 69. So again, it goes to position 8 in the array. So that would be right here. And then the number that was in position 8 is, or index 8, is 10. So now we have to do the same thing with 10. So it grabs onto 10 and then counts the numbers less than 10. So that's 1, 2, 3. So we go to index 3 and then we place 10. Then 44 was at index 10, so we grab 44, count the numbers less than 44. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it goes to position 4, or index 4. Then the previous index 4 was 67. So again, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it goes to index 7. All right. Then the previous number there was 45. So it goes to index 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, index 5. The previous number there was 4. So 1, 2, so it goes to index 2. Previous number there was, it was 45, so we move on to the next number. Which is going to be -31. Again, we're rotating through. -31 has no numbers less than it, so it goes to that location. And then everything is then in its current order. So it has to check every number. And no numbers have been moved at this point, so we've done 9 writes. So if we go to the location where we've written -31, we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we can see that it did 9 total writes. Then it returns the sorted array, and that's all there is to it. All right, so let's go ahead and run the rspec. So clear the screen, bundle, exec, rspec, and this is the spec file that's called cycle sort spec.rb. Notice we have 7 examples, 0 failures. And again, we can go through, and because I didn't remove those inspections, we can see each of the cycles in the rspec. So it grabs that first number. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers less, so it goes to position 4. grabs the 4, 2 numbers less than 4, so it goes to position 2. And there's 5, there are 3 numbers less than 5, so it goes to position 3. And takes position 3, or not, the previous number, which is 3. But there's 1 number less than 3, so it goes to position 1. Takes the 2, there are no numbers less than 2, so it goes to position 0. And it checks all the numbers, and it's good. Total of 5 rights. Again, it's very easy to see the number of rights. If there's no numbers in the array, there are no rights, obviously. If there's 1 number in the array, there would be no rights, obviously. So again, you can clearly see how this cycles through the array, shifts the numbers to its appropriate locations, and then returns the sorted array. Okay, if there are any questions or comments, please post them in the forum and I will answer them as soon as possible. And that'll be it. Thanks, guys.